Good morning. My name's Greg Reeder. I teach right down the road at Broward College, and I teach anatomy and physiology. I'm not a tech person. I'm a teacher. Connect is a program by McGraw-Hill, the publisher of our textbook. You know, there are good things that textbook publishers do, by the way. You know, we hear them get a bad rap quite often, but there are a lot of good things that publishers do. As an anatomy teacher, I had some concerns with my students being ill-prepared. I teach 2 days a week. I teach anatomy class on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday. And when they walked out of there on Wednesday or Thursday, I was firmly convinced that they never picked up their anatomy book until class on Monday or Tuesday. So I wanted to, one of my reasons for looking at Connect is I wanted the students to be more responsible. I wanted to give them homework. I wanted to give them assignments. But there's a lot of things that happen with homework and assignments, like grading them and spending a lot of time. So McGraw-Hill was an answer for me. Another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to my lectures. I wanted my students to have access to my lectures 24/7 because life happens. Life happens. Stuff gets in the way that they can't make it to class all the time. You know, whether they're ill or their grandparents die for the 15th time or whatever. I wanted to make my material that I present in the classroom, I wanted to make it available to them 24/7. So those were my two big concerns when I looked for things to try to bring this about. And McGraw-Hill Connect sort of fit for me. It had just about everything I want. So Connect is sort of a homework management tool with much more. And today we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at the parts of Connect, the assignment building portion, integrity. And actually, I'm being double recorded here. I'm recording my lecture just as if I was in the classroom. And if you would like over, you can email me and I'll send you the link to it and you can listen to it over to see how it works. But hopefully the microphones aren't conflicting and things are doing okay. And finally, I want to talk about what the students get from Connect. The responsibility of doing these homework assignments is a responsibility of listening to these recorded lectures. Is it working or not? So this is McGraw. Again, I'm not a publisher. I'm not tied into a publisher. They do publish our anatomy textbook, and this is a tool that the publishers provide for us. So this is what Connect is. And let me get rid of this and go to the Connect website. And here's a definition for Connect right here. The definition, according to Hill, it says that Connect is a web-based assignment and assessment management platform that helps you connect to your students and the coursework beyond the classroom. But this is Connect. And it's a web-based product, and I'll log on here. And this is my third year of using McGraw. And these are my classes here. And it's very similar to a learning management system, but different in a lot of ways. I'm going to open into a class. You set up your classes each semester. You can roll them over from a previous semester. So invent the wheel. You don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And on the Students Connect website, I can post my office, the textbook. I can post a lot of important information like the syllabus. I post all their assignments here. The Learn Smart modules are here as well, and we'll define and talk. I can see how they've done on their homework, or I can look at individual students. And I can record the lectures. So this is the system that sort of fit for me. It allowed me to do all the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to make my students responsible by giving them homework assignments, but I didn't want to have to spend all the time grading those homework assignments. I wanted to have my lab available. So this is Connect. Now, there's basically 3 parts to Connect, and it took me a while to sort of get into using, and there's still things that I don't particularly know how to use very well. But it's sort of like eating an apple. You have to eat it at one bite at a time. So I started using the homework assignments and making assignments. And one of the homework assignments is Learn Smart is a kind of assignment that is born out of sophisticated artificial intelligence technology, way above my understanding. But if we go to a Learn Smart module, and you're going to anatomy test with me here, by the way. So this is a Learn Smart module, and I assign these every chapter with my students. So it's easier for you to see it than it is for me to talk about it. So when we go into any Learn Smart module, it's like flashcards on steroids. It talks about, it's question after question about the information from a particular chapter. So here, it asks a question. Phospholipids are arranged in a bilayer width. And then it asks you to assess your knowledge. Do you know the answer? Yes, probably, or maybe, or don't have a clue. So it asks you in the beginning, honestly, describe whether you understand this question or not. So let's put are arranged in a bilayer with fatty acids tails facing the water, or hydrophobic phosphate heads facing the water on each side of the membrane. So I'm on this one as the correct answer. Right. So then I go to the next question. And in this particular assignment, there are 77 items, 77 flashcards that they're going to study. So, question, the concentration of material in the cell affects the fluid volume and the pressure in the cell. This property is called what? Do we know that? All right, no, we're just guessing. Let's try. And it's sort of the right answer, but not exactly the right answer. And this program will allow for that. It's the correct answer is called tonicity. So it has rubrics that allow certain answers and certain misspellings. And if we misspell a word, it'll correct it for them. So as they go through these homework assignments, question after question, if they miss a few, it says, wait a minute, you guys aren't prepared. You're struggling. It uses the word struggling with this concept. So if they're not prepared to do their homework, it'll call timeout, send them the ebook. So it has an attachment to the ebook. So the student can click on this and read the section out of the textbook so they can command the information. Yes, sir.
Do you think the students do actually click on it, or do you think that they want to try and get through the homework as quickly as possible and
I think first students click on it and reread it than not. And I do a survey at the end of the semester. When into the ebook, do you actually read the material, or you just go there so you can click, I've been there and I've read it, let's go on. And more people actually responded that they actually read the ebook. Anonymous survey. So it's a survey. So but I get to see based on that survey that more people, up in the 70-some% of the response, they do that. Now, if they actually do that or not, it's a different thing. They do. And that anymore for this, they can't see the whole ebook, print load it, but they can see in pieces for free. Now, when they go through these flashcards, if they miss a question, the card goes to the bottom of the deck and comes back again till they master the concept. So that the answers, the questions that they get correct get shuffled out of the stack, and the ones they get wrong put at the bottom of the stack in different wording. So it's really, really a challenge, it's really a challenge, and I feel most people do go and pick up on the ebook. So one osmol contains one blank of articles, maybe. Okay, I got it right. So they have to go through all of this, all of these cards, assignment for a particular chapter. So, and they get graded on their completion. So they go through this, and they go through all of the cards, and when they're finished, they get 100% completion of all of the structures. And there's a deadline date, and when the deadline dates, it turns it in, whether it is completed or not. But this homework stuff is okay, and that's not the beauty of this. What happens with Connect, the artificial intelligence that's in will develop an individualized learning plan for each student. So I think I just shut the whole thing down. Disserting. Okay. So let me go back again and I want to show you the results of what happens with their homework and their individual learning plan. I apologize. That was an error. But anyhow, they can go into their reports tab, and they can look at their homework. They can look at these flashcards, look at the results. And when they go into the reports, they can look at a lot of different things. They can look at item analysis. They can look at all this stuff. But what's important to me is the Learn Smart results. And when they go into their Learn, I can see the student's details, see exactly what questions the student can see what questions they miss. So they can go into the questions they missed. So if they restudy the questions that they got right. So they can go in and look at the objectives that were challenging for them. They can spend time and overcome those particular objectives that they didn't do well on. So I can go in here and keep track of the student's progress every day by click to look at their report and to see what questions are missed most frequently. And those are the things that I can address in lecture. If the students, or most of the students are missing the question, then need to do a better job of teaching osmolarity in class. So it not only shows the students where they need to spend more time, it shows the teacher where they need to spend more time as well. So frequently missed questions, and I can see in a quick report, I can see students most of my time in lecture talking about these topics and regurgitate the same topics that they've passed successfully. So it sort of tailors my lectures and makes my lectures more effective because I can teach to the points that they're not doing well on. So one of the important kinds of information I get from Connect. I can also go to the most challenging objectives. I can report on the most challenging objectives, but I also get an idea of metacognitive skills. You remember at the beginning of each question we had to say, yes, I know it, no, I don't know, I know it. In the metacognitive skills, they can see if they know it, or they think they know it and missed it, or they can find out exactly their metacognitive level, whether they get aware that they got an incorrect answer or they just don't have a clue. So they can sort of assess their knowledge information through these intelligence, the metacognitive skills. So homework was one of the biggest things that I wanted with Connect, and it gave me more than I could ever really think of. Yes, please.
The Learn Smart. If you get the question, it doesn't go into the Learn Smart thing. What if you had answered, I'm just taking a guess, right? So on the cognitive part, you say, well, I don't really know, but then you get it right. I would hope that that's smart. Because just getting the questions right or wrong, getting put into that bin or out of the bin, where you miss those, you know what I mean?
Sure.
When it has something similar, but I turn it off because I'm afraid of that. I have a cognitive piece to it, but I still am afraid of that because if you take stuff out that they knew a month before the exam, or maybe once the exam comes, they don't know it.
No, it all stays in there, but when it clicks their own individual reports and goes into the metacognitive, they can click under each category and see the questions that they said yes to, I know it, and got right. They could see the questions that they said yes, and they could see all of the questions that arised each time. So when the student can go in there, they can look at, wow, did I really know that? I thought I knew it. You know, how many walk out of your room after, wow, I thought I know that, and I made the 75. So this is a good assessment on what they think they know. So they can go in there on those, click on the tab and see all of the questions that they answered, yes, I know it, and the ones they got right. They can see the ones, yes, I know, that they clicked on yes, I know it, and they got wrong. So it gives evaluations. They can see what their thought, whether they actually know the material or not. Learn Smart is made by McGraw-Hill for a lot of different disciplines. You know, these are the different right now that has that completed. So American government, introduction to bodies. McGraw-Hill already has in place the disciplines that they have Learn Smart for. So if you're interested in Learn Smart, you could maybe contact a McGraw representative. Another big portion of Connect, and let me go back to the home page, was the recorded lectures. I wanted my students to have the recording be available 24/7. Community college, a lot of people coming back for, a lot of people that are coming into the country that have English as a second language. A lot of people that are working and have to work overtime or run into issues. Wow, lost connection. So I wanted my lectures available 24/7, and this was a way I could do it just by simply with the click of a mouse. I had a young lady last semester. She was Army Reserves, and her unit got called up, and she had to be deployed during the middle of the semester for a month. And she was out in a tent somewhere with her laptop and her list of lectures every time. So when she got back, she wasn't behind. And when we look at the lectures, the internet again. I get to the internet again, I had another instance where a young fella in my class had cystic and was hospitalized 2 weeks out of the month for IV antibiotics. And he could listen to the lectures. He could listen to the lectures every day as soon as they were posted, and he didn't find.
Question about the questions.
Okay.
In your opinion, what level would they be like compared to questions you might ask them on an exam? I mean, sometimes quizzes, at least when I give quizzes, they're basics, and I wouldn't want to give students a false sense of security that they've gotten 100 on what's essentially maybe more of a true. Yours weren't true false.
No, these are of levels from, Bloom's taxonomy, from 1 to 3 or 4. So they do run the gambit. And the first couple of years I use this because in a lot of the chapters, there's 250 questions. And if they go in unprepared and they don't know a lot of these answers, then they get time out and have to go to the ebook, and it was taking them 3, 4, 6 hours to get through the homework. So there's a way that we can customize the number of, but it's still a mix of questions. And if they miss that, back again and again and again in a different form until they get it right. So are we having any luck?
I don't know where the wireless is on this particular laptop.
I'm sorry, what? Pearson, yeah. Use the specific questions. Yeah. Yeah, this one you can't. Oh, certainly. I looked at the Pearson one, and all the major publishers do. Pearson, Wiley, all the major publishers for our anatomy texts do have these products, these homework products.
Just while we're waiting, I just have one question. My biggest fear is that these lectures are recorded, and nobody shows up. Do you give points for attendance if you show up?
I use clickers. I use the old-fashioned kind that they have to, in the morning, I ask the first clicker questions, and it counts as 10% of their grade over the semester. So research says that even with recorded lectures, people show up, but the research is people that are selling the recorded lecture software. So I sort of get around that because I use clickers as well. So, but anyhow, the recorded lectures, the recorded lectures record my voice. They also record anything on the computer screen. So I have a product called a Mobi that I can annotate. I can make my drawings. I used to draw on the chalk, but of course, if I drew on the chalkboard, it wouldn't be recorded on the lecture. So I've got a mobile interface here that allow me to run the computer and also draw the board. If I show an animation, it'll show the animation. Whenever I change a PowerPoint slide, it makes a searchable stop so that when the student goes on there and says, well, I didn't want to listen to the whole thing again, they get pictures that I show on the screen, and it's searchable, and they can click on it and just hear the section that they want to hear. And one of the things, it's really sort of insane how much they listen, because there's apps that allow them to download them to their iPads or iPhones or MP3s so that they can listen to them in their cars or anywhere they want to go. So it's amazing how much they listen to them. And one of the comments I keep getting over and over and over is, I can't believe when I listen to the recorded lectures how much I missed. I thought I was a good student. I thought I was paying attention. But there's things that I just totally didn't hear you say. So even though the students think they're listening, a lot of times they're not. And this is one of life's great do-overs. We know it. And this is one good do-over. So they're in class, they miss a lot, their mind strays, their attention spans, 5, 10 minutes at the, they have an opportunity to listen on their own time, anytime, any place. So the recorded lectures have been excellent. So anybody record their lectures?
actually any comparative studies done that show student success using traditional methods and using something like Connect?
And yes, there are, but studies done by the publishers, this kind of software, and we all know this effect that they're not going to publish statistics that I think after using this 2 years, I see a difference. I see a difference in test scores. I see a difference in preparedness. My favorite quotes as far as education philosophy is, I don't remember who said it, but he said, you have to tell the students what you're going to tell them. And then you have to tell them. And then, so repetition is the part of the success in our students. And this is another form of repetition. If I make them get in there, and if they're serious about being a healthcare professional, I have another form of repetition here. They can do these questions over and over and cover the material. Then they can listen to the recorded lectures and hear the same thing verbally again. So educational philosophy is based on repetition, and these are software tools that allow me to allow them to repeat the information anytime and anywhere and make them accountable for a portion of the homework with clickers, any kind of technology that I can use that allows me to get another repetition in there and make them put forth some effort. Thing. Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the Learn Smart, do you have any ability in the system to modify what you believe is an acceptable answer? Or it's just they've got the preset misspellings, they've got, alternative answers, and you can't go in and accept something else that you've explained to the class is acceptable?
No, I don't have that ability. But they do have the ability to challenge an answer. And click challenge an answer, and that question and their answer will go to a McGraw-Hill rep, a content rep, and they will put forth a reason why the question was wrong with the textbook. So they can challenge that. As far as accepting it, they have to do 150 questions. So one question that's in dispute is really not going to up their grade for that particular module.
You're not actually quizzing them, you're really just having them do homework assignments.
I do my quizzing with clickers every day in the classroom to make the butts in the chair.
Do you find, because we're using actually in our anatomy labs here, an online system for practical quizzes to prep our students for the lab practicals, and they just don't want to do that. We have plenty of students who just opt to not attempt any of the quizzes at all, despite the fact that it's like 100 out of 500 points of their grade in the course. Do you see that your students just decide this is more work than it's worth?
I have 100% participation.
Wow.
I say, this is your homework. I check it every day. Work dates are due. See the people that didn't turn their homework in, and I call them in my office and we have a chat. Why can you do the homework? This is part of your grade. You're here for a reason. You want to be a healthcare professional, and would you want a healthcare forth kind of effort forth right now? So I've got a way to put, my fingers on the pulse of my students a little bit better. And after that talk, then they pretty much get on the stick and try their best. It's not a difficult thing to do the homework. It takes time. It takes effort. But once I get them to that point, then I have 100% participation in all, Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2, probably 200 students. So it's pretty cool. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir. No, Connect is not free. No. Well, one of the ways, free for students for 3 neck, because we've worked out a deal with McGraw-Hill that they'll code with a new textbook for free. So if a student buys a new textbook, it pays the $45 fee. Yeah, well, and I've asked the McGraw-Hill rep to get me a number of codes for those people who buy and they've been lucky to give them to me. And a lot of times they give me, so it costs $45, and there's another code called Connect Plus that costs $75, and you get an ebook with that. So they can go to McGraw-Hill right now to McGraw-Hill.com and buy a Connect Plus coupon that will allow them 18 months access to Connect, have an ebook along with it. They can buy the ebook separately for $55, or they can get it in this package for $25. So when you're talking about our textbook for $200, and they can go to spend $25 more and get the ebook and have the total package for $75, you know, that's saving them. You know, bookstore doesn't like for us to do that because the bookstore makes money for the college and they want to sell used textbooks. They want to sell. No, more and more do. More and more do, like the ebook. I'm saying probably out of a class of 50, I may have 12 to 15 book, and then the rest of them want to carry that tangible textbook with them. So I think it's changing, but I like the idea of my students get this homework material for free and having access to the recorded lectures for free, and for, you know, at the worst case scenario, $75. So we've been lucky enough to work with the McGraw-Hill reps to get them, all my students, access to Connect for free.
How do you deal with that, your actual testing in the class?
Testing in the class, my classes are about 50. The class is pretty well conventional. I use hard to 95 multiple choice questions. I give them a hard copy of the test. They enter their answers electronically with clickers instead of Scantrons. I have, so when we're finished with the tests are graded and uploaded to their little piece of the e-instruction server, and they can get their test results in minutes. If there's an essay component, I office and post the grade separately. So testing with the clickers is a wonderful thing.
How much do they cost,
The clickers are about $22 a piece. The e-instructions, I click the device. They 22 e-instruction clickers. So they buy the clickers for $23. You use them. They can use them anywhere. I mean, there's other classes, other colleges. You know, there's a lot of clickers out there. We searched long and hard on the e-instruction clickers that was technical. They were good and reliable. We're big the students, and so it's been a good mix. So we still nothing.
Where this wireless isn't, I mean, the wireless is up and working, but for some reason your laptop is not connecting, and I can't access any of the, is this a university laptop?
No, it's my laptop.
I can't get an address or anything.
I mean, it was working. I was up there in the back. It was working earlier. Let me close some of this stuff and.
You had a problem too? See, it's just internal problems here.
I think you called it a Mobi. Is that integrated with this particular software, the Connect thing? Or is that
This Mobi is from e-instruction. It's a separate standalone kind of thing. It's my right arm. I'm not tied to the.
Can you show me how easy it is to draw a nice picture with it? Biggest Apollo line there, that big black screen. That also has the ability to draw and save the images, but I find it quite difficult to draw on it. All right, actually.
Okay. No, I don't need the internet for this, I don't think. You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, but I'm not a very good artist to begin with.
Well, I'm terrible, but that's quite smooth. It renders that you're drawing quite smoothly. I'm pretty impressed. Yes, so that's what I wanted to have a look and see what.
So you actually don't, you don't touch the screen with the stylus. I put it on my, I touch it when I put on the drawing tool. Try it. That's the only size. Now, you'll have to go up and hit the drawing button. I should have done that for you. Go up to the red pin. There you go. Click on that. Just tap on the screen. And now it didn't pick it up. Just tap with the tip of the pen on the screen.
Plainly, it takes a little practice.
Yeah, it does. But
Okay, it takes.
Come on.
the pressure's on. There you go. Now.
Now it's really humiliated.
Now.
I guess it really isn't the stylus, is it?
Well, obviously, yeah. Obviously, Greg is. So you
Okay.
you're not quite touching it.
Just very lightly. Now, you've gone out of the drawing tool again. And click on the pen again. All right. Now.
Oh, I am so pathetic. I am.
I know, I'm using it.
Obviously,
All right, let's
a little practice.
a little practice. It's can
Fill in the gaps, right.
so I do when I show my points. I can draw arrows. There's all arrows that are automatic that you can use. Everything. So when I get my PowerPoints running, I just annotate over this or draw pictures. And I can get a blank sheet of paper that I can draw on. Let me get rid of the arrows there. So this is called and the company that makes it, you can go to www.einstruction.com. And this is about a $400 item as opposed to a board there that, and we can go back and it saves. So you can go back. Well, it'll save it as a PDF, but when I click save, but it saves every picture that I draw, and I can go back to them. Have you ever had one, you're standing in front of your students and you say, man, I wish I hadn't erased that? Well, you can go back to all of the drawings that you want. So this is an amazing tool that I use to run the computer. I use to analyze recorded lectures so that the student has, when they listen to the recorded lectures, they see everything but my ugly face. And you could even do that as well. If you wanted to stand in front of a web camera, you could have it stream video as well, which I choose not to do. But it's a real easy thing to with tech. Yes, sir. Any window that I have open. Sure. All right, 5 minutes left. A PowerPoint presentation. Oh man, that's. Okay, here's a PowerPoint presentation. A gross one, sort of, on the heart. But anything I annotate or any kind of picture I draw, then it gets, and say, if I want it again, there it is. If I want to go on to the next slide, I can just minimize this and go on with my PowerPoint. So here's a nice cadaver heart here, and I could show them in the x-ray here. I could show them the area of the heart. So the tool. So all tools. We've got Connect that we can do homework assignments easily. It takes some investment to start up to begin with to make your assignments, but you can roll them over and edit them each semester. Integrity, where we can record our lectures, and they see exactly the same thing that they would if they came to class, other than my ugly face. They hear my voice, they see everything I draw, they see if I show an animation, it gets collected on the recording. So these are all tools that have fit with me. And I've thrown in the MOBI, the mobile interface, because it helps with the recordings. I could do it on the board. I could save it. But it's going to be saved on the recording, and they can see it right on the screen every time I draw an ugly stick figure. MOBI's wireless. It has a receiver that hooks to the USB port. So again, that's by e-instruction. Okay, look at lunch. I have technology. Yes, my computer is the cause. But what I wanted to show you, I wanted to this interest you. You know, you've got a contact person here across the street that you access and email. And that's my email address, gedu, if you're interested in the MOBI. I'm not a sales rep for these people, but these are tools that have worked for me. If I can share. Pardon? Write it down, huh? Pull out your credit card. Almost, but that's a questions. Well, thank you very much, and let's go get some lunch. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know.